Welcome back to the Swing Glow Podcast Show. It is yours truly, Do Rock Creek. What's happening with all my people out there in the free world today? This is an unexpected live, you know what I'm saying? But it's definitely a pleasure to be back here amongst my roundtable family. You know what I mean? We got the beautiful Golden. You know what I mean? Good morning to you, beautiful. I got her microphone muted, you know what I'm saying? Because she's out in traffic taking care of business right now. You know what I'm saying? But I'm pretty sure once if she ready to say something, she'll let me know. But anyway, I wanted to jump into a response to a video that I seen yesterday, man. Somebody had hit me and told me that the homie 16 of Life, shout out to 16 of Life podcast, they had brought me up during a conversation that he was having with another individual by the name of Diamond. You know what I'm saying? Now, Diamond, I also know him too. I was in prison with Diamond back in Calipatria. Probably this was, I think, as a matter of fact, I can't even remember the year that I met Diamond because he was there with me for so long. I can't even remember which yard because at that during them years, I was going from yard to yard. I was in and out the hole doing shoot programs and all that. You know what I mean? So, but he was definitely there with me, man. And just to give y'all a little bit of back history about the homie Diamond, right? Shout out to Diamond too, by the way. Diamond is from Riverside, 1200 block. You know what I'm saying? I was able to check out their conversation. We're gonna get into that, right? But to give you a little bit of back history about Diamond, he was in Calipatria with me, like I told y'all. You know what I'm saying? Cool dude. You know what I mean? Had a big personality. And what I mean by having a big personality, he was the type of guy that was like really about his money, stayed on his grind, you know what I'm saying? Didn't let the situation dictate what he was able to do and how he was able to maneuver around while he was in that prison. You know what I'm saying? And I just remember him for being that way. And I remember he brought this incident up, right? I'm not gonna get into it because really it ain't necessarily my business to get into. However, him and 16 to Life did talk about the situation that he ended up getting into, he being Diamond, with the homie Dan Tanner from Long Beach Insane, along with a couple of more individuals. You know what I'm saying? And the situation happened over intoxication. You know what I'm saying? Diamond was drunk. He was known for drinking. Like I said, he was one of the guys that grinded. He kept his hands in something. He was making his money. So as he made his money, you know what I'm saying? I guess growing more and more comfortable in that position of being able to make money, you got certain people that celebrate their success in different ways. Well, one of his ways of celebrating his success that he was having financially at that time was drinking. You know what I'm saying? Now, I don't have a problem with people doing what they do as far as drinking or indulging in whatever drug, as long as you don't allow it to take you down. You know what I'm saying? But him being at that time, we was all relatively young. You know what I'm saying? So having the success that he was having, and as far as being financially secure, you know, he allowed himself to get in a situation, man. While being intoxicated, while being drunk, where him and the homie Dan Tanner and a couple of more individuals ended up clashing. You know what I'm saying? Sadly to say. What's up, sis? I see you. I see you. I love you. I love you. That's my sister Trice right there. My sister Portia. I love you. Tell Paul and Jordan I send my love to them and my little nephews. My sister is always here present. I love you, sis. Tell moms I love her too. All right. So anyway, yeah, that situation of bro being intoxicated led to him and Dantana and a couple of more individuals to end up, you know what I'm saying, clashing where it became physical. You know what I mean? Now, at that time, I know Dantana was known for drinking a lot too. I don't know if he was necessarily intoxicated that night when him and Diamond them got into the altercation. You know what I'm saying? But he was definitely known for being a heavy drinker as well as Diamond. You know what I'm saying? But whatever the case may be, when it comes to that, you know what I mean? Diamond, I was there with him in Calipatria. Then we went on to New Folsom. and he was my next door neighbor when he got to New Folsom. You know what I'm saying? So he was new there. I was new there. So we just tripping on the atmosphere because Calipatria State Prison was a whole nother beast. You know what I'm saying? At that time, man, it was so many different stabbings. People was getting unalive, left and right, left and right, unalive. You know what I'm saying? And there's a couple of relatively famous individuals that was there that ended up getting, caught up on some serious charges, such as unalivings. Right? I'm not gonna speak on that because it's not my business to speak on. I'm just giving y'all different situations and scenarios on the things that was taking place in Calipatria at this time. Like I said, man, I got there in 1999 from Salinas Valley, and from the time I stepped in that prison up until I left, it was nothing but activities. You know what I'm saying? From the police getting beat up and stabbed to inmates getting beat up, stabbed, and unalive. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot going on in Calipatria, man. So to be in that atmosphere and in that environment, you had to become that environment. Unfortunately, Diamond and 16 of Life had one of the most profound conversations during that interview yesterday that I seen, right? Like I said, they was having a conversation and they brought me up in their conversation. However, I was more intrigued by the overall conversation that they had because the how Diamond articulate himself from what he been through in his experience, as well as 16 to Life. Those of y'all that subscribe to 16 to Life or know anything about 16 to Life, y'all know he's very articulate. You know what I'm saying? And he's been doing this podcasting thing for a while. But I was very, very, very intrigued by the conversation, and I learned some things, man, that opened my eyes and gave me a new perspective on. Because look, let me say this: they was talking about, during their prison stay and then overcoming incarceration after having a life sentence. You know what I mean? Being put in a situation where you're in prison, you have a life sentence, and there's no release date. You know what I'm saying? Or you have to rely on the board to let you out, which is, you know what I'm saying, is a whole different mind f. You know what I'm saying? And everybody that's been in that situation know that, man. It's not guaranteed when you go to board, they're gonna let you out. You could be in prison for 25 years and go to board and they tell you come back 3, come back in 5, you know what I'm saying? And it crushes your spirit. You know what I mean? Because up to the point where you do go to board, you're doing all this preparation, you know what I'm saying, getting your certificates and degrees and whatever else you can put inside your portfolio to take to the board for them to go through your file and find it impressive enough to release you back into society, right? Which don't always happen in a whole bunch of cases. You know what I mean? But to see these two brothers get out and hear them talk and articulate themselves the way that they do from their experience, especially Diamond. Look, man, I know these dudes and I know him. You know what I'm saying? And I can attest to the person that he was at that time. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't no sucker. You know what I mean? He wasn't no pushover type of dude. You know what I'm saying? He was a gang member with all the activities and was associated to one of the biggest gangs that it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna put his affiliation out there. Well, I already did, but it is what it is. But to be associated with, that particular core, man, that comes with a lot of, a lot of political different views and issues. You know what I'm saying? As well as 16 to Life. These are, you got to remember, man. I know these dudes when we was all young, and the activities when I was with 16 to Life, we was in Salinas Valley, and that one had just opened. That was one of the worst prisons in the state of California. You know what I'm saying? And it was so many different stabbings and shootings. This is when they was gunning people down with the mini 14s on the yard. The bullets is hitting one person and going to two and three other people. Real live bullets from mini 14s. You know what I'm saying? And you're on the yard and you're sitting there and you're witnessing this. You know what I'm saying? All the different rides and all that, it was popping. So, you know what I'm saying? Look, man, I don't glamorize no gang stuff. As y'all know, if you've been keeping up with what I've been doing, when I talk about the jail stuff, it's to put y'all in a learning experience about something that you may never have to face. Hopefully, let's all pray that you never have to face incarceration. Because with that comes a whole different world of issues. You know what I'm saying? That I don't think a lot of people really be prepared for it. It ain't something that when you're out in the free world and you sit back thinking and contemplating, you know what I'm saying, your pros and cons on going to prison, you know what I'm saying, on what it's going to be and what political issues and views you're going to be faced with while incarcerated, right? That ain't something you sit back and think about and contemplate. However, when you find yourself in that situation and you thrust into that world, hey, it's a culture shock to anybody that ain't never been through that. You know what I'm saying? But to see these dudes, shout out to D Boy. I see you, D Boy 223. Yes, sir. Yeah, I did talk about Knuckles, man. Knuckles was a real dude. You know what I'm saying? About the business, all that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you. Salute to you for tapping in, bro. But yeah, man, hey, like I was saying, you know, the conversation that these dudes was having gave me a different perspective on how I viewed things. Now, I've said that I would I would feel a certain way about my political views while in prison and out of prison. But 16 to Life said something that made me think deeper than that, right? He said that he's been out so long now that it don't even feel like he's been in prison because he's adapted back to his freedom. And it's like, you know what? Who would want to hold on to all the prison stuff? You know what I'm saying? Play by play. It's good to be able to have these stories to throw back to the world. However, still living under all those structures as you go along in your freedom, your mind change, your mentality change, your points of views change, all that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, you know what? As a grown man and loving your freedom and understanding like how valuable it is to be free amongst your family, you know what I'm saying, and not thrown in the concrete jungle, with the worst of the worst everywhere and having to become that environment is crazy work. So when you got your freedom, after going through that for 20 something years, I think 16 to Life is like 20 something years, bro. You know what I'm saying? Somewhere up there, you know what I mean? And now he's back out and he's been out for quite some time now. And he's been able to adjust back to his life after going through that and is able to give all of y'all their testimony. You know what I'm saying? It's a blessing to be able to do that. You know what I'm saying? And be able to move along, you know, in your journey as a free man and enjoy that freedom and not still have all those attachments to what really can test the will of a man. You feel me? It really made me look at things differently. You know what I mean? Because as you sit in a prison cell, your ways of thinking become so tunnel vision to the point where everything else outside of that start to not make too much sense. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Noonie Green. Noonie Green. Shout out to Noonie Green, man. That's the homegirl right there from Long Beach. She's over there with Spider Low over at the Baymac camp. Shout out to all y'all over there. Shout out to you, Noonie, as well. But to get back to what I was talking about, man, as far as allowing yourself to grow, you know what I mean? I found it fascinating. I found it great. You know what I'm saying? As well as Diamond. Diamond really, really impressed me because this, like I said, I've known him. I didn't even know he was out. And shout out to you, Diamond, man. Hey, it's a blessing to regain your freedom and be back out there, man, where you're supposed to be at. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, to the people that deserve that, you know what I'm saying? You wish that upon them, because like you said, it ain't nothing like being able to, you know, step outside, take in a breath of fresh air. You know what I'm saying? Enjoy the simple pleasures of even just having a phone without having to hide it. Because you thinking the COs is gonna run up on you and snatch your phone up. You know what I'm saying? And we know them phones go for 3,000, 3,500 easy all day. You don't have to worry about none of that no more. And that's an adjustment within itself. Like that's a cold mind fuck, man. Excuse my language, but it is. After 20 something years, Diamond did 28 years. So after 28 years of being in prison and having to hide your phone and go through all the searches and all the stabbings and all the politics and all the rules and regulations to be thrust back into freedom after captivity of 28 years straight on these level 4 yards, you know what I'm saying? Hey man, we all gonna need help adjusting back, whether people want to admit that or not, especially after doing all that time. Especially after doing all that time, man, and being able to get through it. That's why I approach a lot of things that I bring to this channel the way that I do. You know what I'm saying? Because and they expressed it themselves. Diamond and 16 to life, as far as not glamorizing the gang life, but giving y'all a piece of that history. You know what I'm saying? To guide the kids away from that, giving a positive message, putting a positive spin on a negative situation or situations that we've been in throughout our life, nor journey. As elders now, I believe that it's our responsibility to be able to give back, you know what I'm saying, to our young and to our community. I salute all the brothers, man, that's on that mission, that's doing that. You know what I'm saying? Such as the homie Diamond, such as 16 of Life, such as Coach Zoe over at the Game Bankers Life Coach. You know what I mean? And anybody else that's indulging in trying to correct some of the things that we messed up along our path and our journey in this life. Period. It's easy for us to revert back to the norm because we come from a history of some of us. We got family members that was doing the gang thing. Our mothers and fathers was probably tied to it, uncles and aunties. You know what I'm saying? That put us that much more deeper into it. You know what I'm saying? And when you have such a long history of those type of ties, you know what I'm saying? It's easy for you to want to go back to that because that's what you're used to. You know what I'm saying? The hard thing is breaking up out of that as a grown man and woman and start making your own decisions that's going not set you up for failure in your future, but actually build a stronger path, not just for you, but the people that come behind you, because there's going to be people that come behind you. And we got to start teaching them right through our actions first. You know what I'm saying? Just the other day, I made a video about older gentlemen, you know what I'm saying, that's supposed to be leaders, you know what I'm saying, putting themselves in better positions, you know, to teach the younger generation. You know what I'm saying? And not misguide them with misinformation and half truths. You know what I'm saying? That message that I tried to deliver wasn't done to inspire negativity. However, I did receive negativity back from that. But see, what I did wasn't in question. You know what I'm saying? It's the person that tried to put the negative spin on a positive message that was supposed to inspire. You know what I'm saying? Not divide and conquer. Dudes is too used to that in this day and age. You know what I'm saying? And I compare it to the Hunger Games. You know what I mean? Especially in these times right now, as bad as it is in society, Trump got the world all effed up right now, bro. People was gonna go hungry. You know what I'm saying? People was out there starving, broke. And I suggest y'all start hitting them food banks, man. Y'all got to stack up because it's going to be horrible until this dude either it's horrible that all that power is in this one man's hands and he's affecting the whole nation. So when you got serious issues like that going on, and let me say this too, man, because it's something else that's been on my mental, and this lady name just keeps it just rings in my head over and over and over, and that's Sonya Massey. Shout out to Sonya Massey's family. Rest in peace to her. Ever since that situation happened to Sonya Massey, she was tragically gunned down by a white police officer that she invited into her home. She called these people because she felt, she needed some type of protection to whatever made her feel that way. She called them to her for protection. But what she ended up calling was a devil in disguise because this person got there with bad intentions. And them intentions was deadly. This lady, when I look at her, every time they show the video, and they've been showing it because his trial is starting. You know what I'm saying? In which he pled not guilty and that he was defending himself against a little lady that invited him into her home. She's in her nightgown. She ain't got no gun, no knife, or nothing. She's in her kitchen. And she go to cut off a pot of water, and that cost her her life. Well, really, what was inspired was her saying she rebuked him. And that sent the devil into frenzy. And she lost her life behind that. And he trumped up charges on her, talking about he felt threatened. And this dude easily got to be a good 6'2", 6'3", you know what I'm saying? And he was standing a nice distance away from her. And you felt threatened. The whole time he's standing there with his hand on his gun. The whole time he already had it set in his mind that he was going to end Sonya Massey's life. He already had it in his mind that he was going to do this to this lady. When I look at her, I see my mama. I see my sisters. I see my nieces. I see some of y'all, my female viewers that's going to see this. I see y'all. And she died for nothing. He killed her for nothing. So when you got all these real life issues going on, and there's so many crazy different things going on in the world around us that you don't really hear too much about, but trust me, it's a lot of craziness going on. You know what I'm saying? I look at, stuff on YouTube, and I see these gentlemen that's supposed to know better doing things less than what a man is supposed to be doing and engaging in. And to each his own. But it's a lot of real life crazy issues going on around us, man, that just supersede all the little dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's what makes me want to do better as a man. What I'm able to contribute back to my people. Because there's so many other things going on in the world, man. And it's a blessing to be able to have my family. You know what I'm saying? It's a blessing to be able to have those that love me. You know what I'm saying? It's a blessing to have all that. Every time I think about Sonya Massey, what she went through and how she lost her life tragically, I'm always reminded how blessed I am. And the petty things that I may trip on or that y'all may trip on really ain't nothing in comparison to what her family got to deal with every time they walk in that courtroom and they see that demon standing in there that took her life. That's what I think about. And again, her name rings in my head a lot. So rest in peace to her, man. It's a lot, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, shout out to 16 to Life, shout out to Diamond. You know what I'm saying? The conversation, man, was truly beautiful that y'all had. Y'all need to do a part 2 to that. I'm definitely gonna be tuned into it. And I'm not just saying that because I was mentioned in that conversation. I take in stuff like that. I try to as much as I possibly can because these dudes is showing me a better way, a different way of doing it, and not have that same political tunnel vision that I have been instilled with for years. As a grown man, I own that to myself to be able to change certain ways that I think and view certain things. Because I know once I'm back into free society and I get some time up under my belt of reestablishing myself back out there, my way of thinking is definitely gonna change about certain stuff, especially when it comes to prison. I'm gonna be giving y'all what I give y'all, but at the same time, like I'm not trying to have them attachment, especially after doing a number of years, 30 plus years straight of incarceration, 30 plus inside a concrete coffin. Imagine that. Your limitations on everything, man, is at an all-time low. In an environment where you gotta touch your phone, you gotta hide your phone. Imagine that. Those of y'all out there in the free world, man, that's something you ain't never gotta worry about. But in prison, like that's it's a cat and mouse game. Also, that the messages, the positive people that's really, really trying to be about that life can't get out. They want you to always remember that same animal, you know what I'm saying, from 30 years ago. You know what I'm saying? They want that. You feel me? But yeah, man, shout out to 16 to Life. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the homie Diamond, man. Much love to you both, man. Hopefully y'all run that part 2 on that interview because that interview was bomb. And I suggest everybody go check that show out. It's on 16 to Life's podcast, man. You know what I'm saying? They just did it yesterday. So everybody please go over there and subscribe. Check that video out. Also, Diamond has a YouTube channel. I think it's called 28 to the Gate. You know what I'm saying? Please go over there and subscribe to his channel as well, man, because from what I seen yesterday, you know what I'm saying? Hey, man, hey, them the type of, and let me say this real quick too, because he followed up on something that I said about the homie Hoover Gumby. Shout out to Hoover Gumby too, doing this thing online right now. But he was back there in the hole with us as well, Diamond. You know what I'm saying? And he described how Hoover Gumby had all these books in which he did. I've done shows about that. Every time I went to the hole, for one, he gonna get me a cell. Gumby gonna get me a cell right over by him. It was always me and Stutterbox, the homie Stutterbox from Angelo's. They mentioned Stutterbox yesterday on 16 to Life show too. That's my little bro right there. You know what I'm saying? But we was always back there in the hole. You know what I'm saying? So every time we go, we got a cell over there by Gumby for one. He's gonna get us moved over there. And then he was my personal library. He had stacks and stacks and stacks of books. So a lot of my education, things that I was fortunate enough to learn, you know what I'm saying? I got that from him. You know what I mean? And that's why I've told y'all in the past when it comes to Hoover Gumby, hey, don't the online stuff, that's one person. You know what I'm saying? In comparison to a person that's extremely intelligent. I can't say it no more than I've already said it. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to him. Shout out to the homie Diamond. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna get ready to wrap this up because my girl Golden got to take care of some business. So I'm gonna let her close this off real quick, and we're gonna get up out of here. Golden, what's happening?
Thanks to everyone who tuned in. I wish I could have talked, so I'm kind of mad right now. But everyone, enjoy their day. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want. Share this live. Check out all our videos. We've been dropping a lot of videos lately, so if you haven't seen them, go back and watch them. Until next time, stay safe out there. Peace and blessings.
I appreciate you, beautiful goat. She was actually supposed to bring a couple of topics to the round table. However, our time schedule was kind of tight today. You know what I'm saying? She's in the middle of taking care of some personal stuff right now. You know what I mean? So, but we definitely like this. This is my co-host. This is my woman. You know what I'm saying? So best believe the next time we go live, she will be here, and I'm gonna hand her the keys. You know what I'm saying? And let her. You know, she run the show anyway. So it is what it is, man. But shout out to everybody that joined this live. Shout out to those of y'all that's able to catch up to it a little bit later. I appreciate y'all. Shout out to the homie 16 to Light. Shout out to the homie Diamond as well, man. Hey, I look forward to that part two on y'all, man. Doing that interview, man. You know what I'm saying? Stay on that path, stay on that journey. You know what I'm saying? Y'all teaching a lot of people, y'all inspiring a lot of people, y'all definitely inspired me. You know what I'm saying? So salute to all of y'all. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and close this on up. I love and appreciate you all. Like, comment, share, subscribe to the Swang Low Podcast, Do Rock Creek, and the beautiful Golden. Shout out to everybody that tapped in the chat. The homegirl Noonie Green, y'all go check her show out. I believe the name of her show is called excuse me if I get this wrong, Noonie. The Noonie Green Noonshine Show. I believe that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? If I'm saying it wrong, put it in the comments, man. You know what I'm saying? And y'all go over there and y'all follow her as well. You know what I mean? She is definitely gonna be one of the ones, you know what I'm saying, to stay in tune with, you know what I mean? But on that note, I'm gonna get up out of here. Y'all stay safe. I love all of y'all, you know what I'm saying? Go watch all those other videos that we've been dropping, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of gems up in there. You know, hopefully it helps somebody in their life and in their journey. You know what I'm saying? On that note, we finna get up out of here. I love all y'all. To the next time we meet at this round table, triple gang.